You're listening to Thrive Now with Dr. J. Calvin Tibbs.
What's going on? I hope it's a great day where you are. You see that little thing down there? It says knowledge is not power until you possess it. But we've always heard knowledge is power. Well, let's just look at that. If it by itself, knowledge is power, why are you not more powerful? Answer, because knowledge is not power until you possess it. We know a lot of things. I know how the cell phone works. There are probably more apps and programs in it than I have possessed. So while I know that the phone has a lot, it's not power until I possess it. Think about the thought about, for example, your future. I don't know what your past is like, but somebody probably has been assigned to let you know that it's going to get better than it's been. But knowing that is half the battle, because knowledge is not power until you possess it. Your future is blazing, waiting for you to possess it, but it won't be yours until what you know becomes what you possess. Think about, I don't know, the idea that some people think that life always happens to them, not for them. Another way to put it, they think they're a victim. Listen, you may know that your past was filled with things that you don't want to repeat, but your future is blazing as long as you possess it and know that you're not a victim. But see, knowing you're not a victim and possessing that you're not a victim, two different lifestyles, two different stories. Think about the idea that, sometimes people think God has forgotten them because they forgot God. Well, God hasn't forgotten you. You're still his boy. You're still his girl. He made you in his image, whether you act like it or not. He can demonstrate grace and show you favor and call up some mercy, and you may ignore all of that. But one thing is for sure, God has not forgotten you. But you know what? With that knowledge, until you possess it, it is not power, because knowledge is not power until you possess it. So what we've got to start doing is taking responsibility, right? For the blazing future, not waiting on somebody to open a special door for you. Perhaps you need to be the door, the heart. Your heart needs to open to accept that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. So now me and God, God and me, that's a majority. Let's get to work on that blazing future so that you can possess it. Perhaps the idea about you being a victim is in your head, and you attract people who want to take advantage of what you send out. Why don't we stop sending that out and start sending out? I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. Yes, a victor. Yeah. See, when you then begin to do that, you're going to start possessing what you know. And then finally, the idea that God has forgotten you. Are you kidding me? He can't. The only thing God can forget is your sins. Did you hear that? The only thing God can forget is your sins. How does he forget them? You ask for forgiveness. But one thing God has not forgotten, and that is you. And why hasn't he forgotten you? Because he made you in his image. I want you to remember that. Knowledge is not power until you possess it. When you get a hold of that, my brother and my sister, you are going to start thriving right now.
You're listening to Thrive Now with Dr. J. Calvin Tibbs. Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.